Pope Francis's The Pontificate of Peace. We remember Pope Francis as a Pope of Peace through his tireless appeals and constant visits to show his closeness to those suffering the consequences of one of the most unjust human-made disasters, war. At his last public appearance, Pope Francis repeated what had become a slogan in his Pontificate of Peace. Everyone knew to expect it at the end of his audiences, but never did it lose its strength. During the Easter Urbi et Orbi blessing, the day before he died, the Pope's words echoed the countless appeals he had made over the years, urging world leaders to lay down arms and turn to dialogue. Even as he struggled to speak, having asked someone to read his message on his behalf, his voice, albeit weak, resonated across St. Peter's Square and screens across the world. From the first days of his 12-year-long pontificate, Pope Francis spearheaded the global Catholic movement for peace advocacy. Through words, actions, and deeds, he demonstrated his unshakable belief in the power of reconciliation, the importance of dialogue, and the urgency of ending violence in all its forms. Pope Francis always took the time to remember those suffering from conflict. While praying for peace in areas that gain most of the media attention, he also never failed to channel his prayers to some of the areas most hard-hit, yet most forgotten by the world. One of his most symbolic gestures and a particularly striking moment of his pontificate was in April 2019, when he knelt to kiss the feet of South Sudanese leaders as the head of a country grappling with a horrific civil war. As he greeted President Salva Kiir and his rival Riek Machar in the Vatican, the Pope, in his humility, kissed their feet, urging the leaders to lay down their weapons and pursue paths of peace. His personal plea turned diplomatic when, 4 years later, in February 2023, he traveled to South Sudan. Along with the Archbishop of Canterbury and the moderator of the Church of Scotland, he warmly addressed thousands of faithful who had suffered and continued to endure the brutal consequences of war. Then, as he addressed the nation's authorities, civil society and diplomatic corps at the presidential palace in Juba, he warned them, "Future generations will either venerate your names or cancel their memory based on what you now do."